ecological study, working with social sculpture, the performative and dark permaculture. And importantly, Gylleboverket, they are invited to be a part of this year's celebration when Linköping University turns 50 years. So with the social sculpture under the stars, they are inviting everyone at the university to be part of two collective events taking place, as Cecilia said, on the 11th of March and the 20th of May, where stars will be mirrored through fire. Exciting. So we are very much in the middle of this process now, and the Posthumanities Hub is part of this collaboration together with the Public Art Agency and Akademiska Hus, academic housing that owns all the university buildings. So in May, importantly, we will also open a small exhibition here at the Linköping University Library, where we will see a very poetic filmed version of this first social gathering, and also pieces by another artist that we have here as a collaborator, Amanda Selinder. And this exhibition will also present the work of the Posthumanities Hub, basically. So before we start, and I leave the word to you, I also wish to instill that we have shared this good feeling of co-learning here with the Posthumanities Hub. So therefore, I shortly just want to walk you through the order of things here today, so we know what to expect. So Gylleboverket will talk for about 40-45 minutes. Yes. And thereafter, around 2, we will take a short break, 10-15 minutes. And thereafter, we'll open the floor so that everyone here in the space and also on Zoom will have this possibility to ask questions to our dear guests. And we very much would like to make room, create inclusion and access for people of all backgrounds. And we acknowledge our own non-innocent complicity in society and within academic culture. And we wish to foster conditions for curiosity, creativity, collaboration, critique, and careful transversality across diverse body minds. So I also like to say that we are recording this event on a double layer because we have one person within the room that makes a small documentation. And we will also record the webinar through this function on Zoom. So are you okay with this, everyone? Great. And we also appreciate very much if you have your cameras turned on, but if you're not, it's also totally okay to turn it off. It's up to you and what you feel comfortable with. So thank you all for being here and for making this kind and smart and very fun event together. So now I think it's about time for me to introduce our guests, Gylleboverket. And Etta Säve and Jona Elvdal collaborate as the permanent ensemble within the artistic group and art platform Gylleboverket. Their artistic practice originates in deep ecology and spiritual experimentation. Their artistic practice includes deep ecology, and through their artistic process, they scrutinize society's inherited thought patterns and establish norms by following the traces we lead ecologically, as well as our projected ideas of life. And Gylleboverket works in different constellations with large-scale site-specific works, with performances, with rituals, text, film, and social sculpture. And now we're, of course, very curious to hear much more about this. So thank you for being here, and I leave the word to you.
Thank you very much. So we are Etta and Jona, and we work. Firstly, we are also super glad to be here. We just met you once before on this Zoom meeting, and it was a fantastic good energy you have here with this such a positivity and loving ambience. So we're super happy to come here and to get to know you a little better. We work both as artists, as you said, in an artist group called Gylleboverket and do many different collaborations with both humans and more than humans. And we are producers or curators running Gylleboverket Artist Resilience Center, which is an art-run artistic resilience center, so to say. And then also we are teaching permaculture on our farm, both in the forest. So it's three different legs maybe that we're gonna try to explore, whatever. But we've been running this, both the farm and Gylleboverket, on this scrapyard since 2010, so it's 15 years. Where to start?
Yeah, and we thought that we would. Hi, I also would like to say it's great to be here. Actually, and we would like to start with our artistic practice and try to bring you to one of our works to sort of get you into what it could look like. And it's difficult, of course, in this format when we work with very site-specific and with social sculptures, but we will bring you to a work that we call The Hole, which is something we've been doing for the last year. So for 1 year, we have been digging a big hole on a 2-hectare field at the permaculture farm, together with hundreds of people who has passed by, and it's been researchers and artists, but also from the local community and different groups that has been visiting. So I will try now to bring you there by asking you or inviting you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that, or just sit a little bit in your own sphere. And then we can imagine that we are now standing outside of a fence. And inside of the fence, there is a big field. And you will be welcome to walk inside. And when we enter this field, we will all stay in silence. When we enter, you see a fire burning. And a bit further away, you see an old steel shipwreck laying stranded on the grass. Around it, there are hundreds of small nut and fruit trees planted that will turn the ship into a boat in a forest in some years. We start to walk towards the fire. When we get close, we can see that the fire is surrounded by a big hole. Its shape is irregular, and it's so deep that a person can stand in it without being seen. There are people digging in the hole. Some climb up and down, carrying stones to piles of hundreds of other stones, and others are just sitting there watching. Someone is boiling tea on the fire. Before they entered, they all been told that they will dig for a certain amount of time. 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. When an alarm goes, we will all stop. There are no rules how to dig. The only rule is to listen into the landscape, to yourself and to the others. And that we dig in silence, and that we separate stones from soil to make it easier for someone who wants to move them again. If you need to rest, you rest. If you just want to sit there, you just sit there. No one else than your listening is deciding what you should be doing there. There are some spades and shovels standing around the hole. You may take one and climb down. You slide down the dark brown wall of soil, and down there you start to dig. When the sun starts to set, you climb up again. Looking around, seeing someone who comes up from the hole and lights another fire. Then another one. As the sun sets, more and more fires are lit around the hole. When the alarm goes, it's already dark, and we gather together around the fire in the middle to share what wants to be shared from the experience or any questions that might have been raised during the digging. And you can now open your eyes and come back to this room. Thank you. And yeah, so that was hopefully one image of what we are doing. And we will put some images and share a screen maybe that will be running while we are talking, and they are randomly popping up from all these 3 legs that we have, because for us it is intentional that they are coming up randomly and that they are very mixed, because our practice is complex in that way, like life is. So it will be images both from our practice as an artist group, from the farm, and also from the platform Gylleboverket. So some of you, like Malin, will recognize herself, because at the platform, it's not only us working, but we invite other artists and researchers to do their work there as an exploratory site, but also to show work in exhibitions and festivals. So in the background now, it will be some images from them.
Nice. So we start to tell something about the farm, which is called Boat in the Forest, Harbor for Radical Nomads, which is an exploratory site and a residency place, so you can all come and work there if you want to sometime. And it's food production and food reproduction place. So we grow all the food for us and for Gylleboverket. So all events on Gylleboverket is from the food that we that we grow on the farm. We have an image that we are maybe aiming for at this place, that is freedom ecology. Maybe some of you have heard about this. It's from the very early stage of Holocene, so like 12,000 years ago, where mankind we were still gatherers and hunters, but on the same time, we were doing this playful farming, and we also took care of the landscape around where we were living. So we planted nuts and planted fruit trees and so on around in the landscape, on the same time as we were playfully started to grow food. And this is a time scale where it's called freedom ecology, because it is also farming has been blamed on as the beginning of oppression and the beginning of these hierarchies and so on. Because at least what I was told as a kid, when you started to settle down, we said, this is my property and so on. But this is something else than farming. It comes elsewhere. And everyone who has been farming knows this, that to farm is relational. It's something very different from hierarchies and oppression. I think it's just something good to have in mind. So what we do is that we're looking for or searching or exploring this freedom ecology by see how can we get our food from wild or semi-wild landscapes, and how can we learn from those wild ecosystems in many different ways, of course. And what is the possibility of being human, mankind, both as a mind and as a body? How can we interact with the ecosystem, and how can we give something to, how can we be a nice part of an ecosystem? So yeah, and also it's a question of how to take care to healing ecologies. It is if you have a friend who is sick, you can leave him or her or they alone, and the body is self-generating, so it will be a cure. Maybe not all of us, but the most of things will cure. But if you instead put a hand, it's something that we have that we can also somehow heal, that we can help each other just by being there. And we think that it's similar with the landscape, how to put a hand on a landscape. What is that? Something that we are exploring. So what we have been doing on this farm is first maybe the genetic part of it, to make this genetic library of the site, to find nuts and fruits that are resistant to both the cold climate, but also to diseases, and then to interact them with wild ecosystems that are more resilient. So we've been planting very, very many nuts, for example, and now it is a young forest. So the biggest trees, just 4 or 5, 3 or 4 meters high now, that we have been planting from nuts. So it's fantastic to grow with those nuts. It's definitely something beautiful that I want to do. It's something very beautiful. And it has just started to give some nuts now for every year, but it's a long-term, I don't know what to call it, investment maybe, but maybe not. But it's a long-term process that it will give food to the both animals and humans who lives there for thousands of years. And it's just going to fall down to the ground. You can just harvest on the ground what we need to survive. I think that is something very beautiful. And it doesn't need any gardeners. That's the fantastic with the forest. Yes.
Okay, and this growing or the food forests and this way of working, it is on the same site then as this pole. So the explorations are on different, with different methods, you could say, to try to understand how we can be humans in this world with care for it. And alongside the farm, then we have this Gylleboverket, which is another opportunity to explore these questions on how we can be here. And if the farm for us is radically relational in the sense that we have the opportunity to put down a seed in the ground and see a tree grow for years, then this scrapyard, which is Gylleboverket, is very radically relational in another way, because it is an old scrapyard and it has been since the 40s, meaning that houses has been teared down and then put there, and then people could come there and buy old windows and doors and whatever they needed. And when we took over 14 or 15 years ago now, these hundreds of doors and toilet seats and old metal things were still there. So the site itself asks a lot of questions, the same way as this hole for us has been starting to ask questions, which we didn't know that we had to ask. So Gylleboverket's scrapyard is like being a little bit into the future, or condensed part of the earth where we can no longer hide the consequences or the traces of the human activities that we are now, at least in Sweden, able to hide because we are sending away our feedback loop on export somewhere else where we don't need to see it and confront it. So this site has something, I think, very important to ask, that we have to also build relations to these things that are still there, these old stuffs where trees are now starting to grow through the metal and taking over and being entangled in each other in a very physical and very visible way. And Gylleboverket also came with a social network of people because there were people that since the 40s who's been there and having this site as they went there to buy their own windows. If you want to renovate your house in the countryside, yeah, that's where you went. So when we came, there was a lot of people still coming that had maybe no particular interest in contemporary art or in questions about resilience maybe or sustainability. Some have had, but it wasn't necessarily an art audience, but they still kept on coming, being a little bit curious what we would do then when we took over. So we tried to honor this relationship and keep it, and because it gave a very great opportunity for us as a learning zone because of the diversity of perspectives of the people who were there, who also knew the place much better than us. They had the relation to this site since they were young, maybe. And so we tried to develop different methods on how to meet. And that's how it started, that we work with Gylleboverket as a platform, also as a social sculpture, meaning for us that it is a meeting place, that what we do there is relational and participatory and potentially transformative. So we invite different artists or researchers to also be there if they want to use that site for their research or explorations, together with that we also have public, that is also public space because we have exhibitions and things. So when you're there as an artist, you also, if you want, you can involve people in your work. So we hope that that platform, or our aim is that this can be a site also for uncertainties and for the radically relational, and that it can bring out these questions that we, like I said, that we didn't know that we had to ask because of the many different both people and matter and materialities and physical things that are actually there.
Yeah, and we were asked specifically to speak something about dark permaculture. And it's something that we are writing on now. We are writing a book this winter. And dark permaculture is the meeting point of permaculture, which is resilient design and art. So it is how to navigate or how to live inside of the unknown and inside of the unwanted and everything that is hidden, all the leftovers. How can we still live a resilient life in there? How can we at least deal with this that we cannot control? We cannot fix it. So it's very complex, and it's always changing, this world that we are living in. So that's why we need, for example, artistic process work is, we have been working with this for a long time as humankind, and it's something that actually belongs to mankind, but it's taken somehow. The creativity is so that's why also with this social sculpture that it comes from Joseph Beuys, that he said that everyone is an artist. Maybe he meant a little bit different with that subject, but we use it as that creativity is something belonging to. It's a very important part of being a mankind, of being here. And it's taking away for some experts to do this instead. So the rest of us can just be consumers, more or less. So how can we instead invite the creativity into this complex living in the world and live in those processes? One step forward maybe in this search is come from Whitehead. He's a process philosopher, and he talks both about entropy, of course, but as a counterpart to entropy, he says that the universe has a fundamental principle of creativity. He used this word. So he says that also the planets and also the stones and also the trees has this. So it's not just belonging to humankind, it's belong to existence. That means that everything is an artist in that sense, which is very inspiring. And I think it fits to the thing that you are thinking around here also. And for us as artists, that means how can we co-create with a tree, or how can we be together and co-create with the landscape? And that's what we explore with Dark. Yes.
So what we do then is to try to find ways and methods to decolonize our minds or break our conditioned patterns and norms that are created in a society or by a society that very much is based on a capitalistic growth logic, and instead try to find a way, how can we be here with this care? And for us, it is a lot of, the practice is embodied experiences, and it's so field work, and it's using performative methods and putting our hands in the ground. So all this mixed, and then also, of course, trying to read and look at what other people are thinking and doing to inform our own processes by that and have an exchange. And to see how to experience our body as the landscape body. So it's very physical, and to get that knowledge inside of us somehow in a different way. And it's also durational, so it's a lot of spending time and doing things over and over again, that is not expecting a quick fix or an answer to a question, more trying to find the question itself. And I think for us, it's also a practice of silence, of not knowing, and not knowing as a guide of in-depth learning, and to listen and trying to honor the being with the meeting, and do nothing farming, maybe as Fukuoka talks about, to pay attention and leave space, observe and respond, and to dare to be there in the vulnerability of walking out in deep water and not knowing, and be on the edge of our comfort zones and knowledge zones where we can learn the most, out there in this edge and going straight into this darkness of the unknown. And I think it's a process of trust. And to pay attention, this French philosopher, Simone Weil, said that that's one of the highest forms of showing love. And I find it really beautiful to recognize also that love, recognizing love, and by being open to the meeting with someone or something and our surroundings. And in other words, like taking responsibility for being here by practicing our ability to respond. So there's the responsibility towards that which we carry inside of us and that which carry us inside of it. So it's to be in this act of love and being something where it's rather than a me and you or a we and them. It's a me in you and a you in me and a we in the world. So our practice is a lot about how we can create these time spaces or for these interactions where these deeper inner changes can take place and opening up for these rooms of knowledge and rooms for recognition of the relations and the other. I think that brings us maybe to what we want to do here for this room of knowledge, which we are being in here.
Yeah, so we want to acknowledge and to celebrate these 50 years here through a little fire event where as many different kind of people as possible from different disciplines at this campus could come and light a little fire and to reflect the relation in between this little fire and the very, very big sky, all those stars that are so far away. And also to collect those reflections and to make a video installation here in the, what's it called?
Student house.
Student house. The student house. Yeah, then to do this once again on the celebration. Is it something else? Yes.
I think that, I mean, we will have, we will do something before the break, and then there will be this time after the break for all these questions. So I think maybe it would be easier if then we will know what you think we should talk more about through that. But I think, it's fine too. So we would like to end before the break with also bringing you somewhere, if that's okay. So then again, I would like to ask you or invite you to close your eyes and try to go into your own sphere a bit. And feel that you are just sitting here or at home or where you are. And then I would like you to, in your head, go to a place of your own where you feel held, or a place where you feel that you can relax or collect some energy, a place that nourishes you. Maybe it's a place from your childhood or a place where you come a lot. Or maybe it's just a place in your head. And I would like you to go there, and you can sit down or lay or just stand there and take a few breaths. And take that place in and look at it. And then I would like you to let that place look at you. Let it see you when you are standing or sitting or laying there. And then look at each other, the place, and maybe you say hi. And then imagine that you thank each other for seeing each other, for being there with each other. And then in your own time, you can return to this room or where you're sitting and feel that you're sitting here on the chair. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and look around. Who's here with you? And, we wanted to do this as a sort of reminder of the relations that we all carry inside of us. And that even if we are not there in our bodies, that they are just one thought away. And that we are always in the same world at the same time. And we have this backup to lean into the world and surrender into it. And the world is there to carry us as we are to carry the world. So I think, yeah, that was it before the break.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
This was amazing, an amazing ending. So I guess we just leave it there and have a break for, should we say, till 2:10.
Oh,
Is that okay? So we regather again at 2:10. Thank you, everyone, and see you in a while.